All right, so in the name of going through the discomfort, like I talked about in the previous two videos, we're going to talk about reframing the word love and what I've learned about that word, and just kind of share with you a couple important things that I think are good to know about the reframing, the redefining of the word love. Before I do that, in the previous video, I talked about the setup I did. Sitting here in this setup, sitting here with the lights and the plants, and got a light on me, I got my nice camera on me, I got this microphone here, and I got this whole setup. For some reason, it adds a lot of extra pressure that being in the car, sirens. It adds a lot of extra pressure that being in the car driving around does not. So I'm going to get through the discomfort, and I'm going to work through it and eventually get to where being here, sitting in this chair, talking to this camera with this setup is just as easy as driving around the car, doing it that way. So the reframing of love. There's a lot of stuff to talk about when it comes to the word love. I think there's two things I'm going to hit on today. The first one being love is not something that's outside of us. I know that we've all been programmed and learned, and I've fallen victim to this myself, that I have, previous version of myself has searched for love, as I say, in all the wrong places, meaning that I was basing the love of myself of how much my parents loved me. I was basing the love of myself on how much a female loved me. I was looking outside for love to make me feel loved, when in reality, by the nature of who we are the result of love. Human beings are an expression of love. All of us are. It's all in here first. So you do not need to search for or try to find love. Love is here. I've talked about in previous videos and on some other podcasts I've been on that when we're able to, what I do is I put myself in a white or a black void, and I think about all these things without anybody else or anything else outside of myself to turn to. What is left is me, and when what is left is me, the only thing I can go to for anything is right here. And when I've been able to do that, at first it's a little unnerving, and at first it's a little uncomfortable, and at first it's kind of like, what the fuck? But then you get to a point where you're like, oh, it's all right here. I don't need my parents to love me to make me feel loved. I don't need a woman to love me to make myself feel loved. I don't need more money to feel lovable or loved. I don't need a big house or a fancy car, any of that stuff to feel any kind of way. It's all already right here. I am lovable. I can love myself first. And when I've been able to really, on a strong foundational level, love myself first, it makes the love from my parents feel like a bonus. It makes the love from my partner feel like a bonus. It even makes the love from my child feel like a bonus. So just please know, and I'll talk more about this as these videos go on, that love is not something you have to search outside of yourself for. It is all right here all the time. The other thing that I want to talk to you quickly about love is kind of love versus fear, and the intention from which we make choices or take action or even think in our lives. You know, I've told people for the last couple of years now that, you know, when you make a decision from a place of fear, and I always make sure that I say, like, not a fear of like, oh, I'm afraid, I'm scared. It's more like the fear of not having something. For example, all the previous jobs I had before I quit my job and started my business, my photography, videography business, you know, the underlying truth about the reason I took any job I had before was the fear of not having money, the fear of not having a steady income, the fear of not being able to pay my bills, the fear of not being able to buy things. And that's just an example. It was true for me, but it's just an example of my intention, my actions were coming from the place of the fear of not having something, right? And when you're not aware of it, or when I wasn't aware of it, I thought that by taking the job, it was the right thing to do because then I'd have the money to do with the things that I needed to do. But in reality, because the underlying intention, the underlying emotion, the underlying truth was that it was from a place of fear of not having it, it only perpetuated the not having it. So even when I had a job before, being employed by the local high school, or before that being employed by the local YMCA, or any of the other million jobs I had before that, it only perpetuated the fear of not having it, because having those jobs from the place of fear, even though I had a steady paycheck, I still wasn't able to pay all my bills on time. I still wasn't able to go on vacation. I still wasn't able to do the things that I wanted and needed to do because of the place in which I was taking the action from, which was a place of fear. On the other hand, when you take action or make choices from a place of love, which I eventually did, my daughter was born at the end of 2012, December 2012, and by April 2013, I ended up quitting my job at the local high school, not out of spite or out of fear, out of anything like that, but it was from a place of true, real love, and it was the love of wanting to show I wanted my daughter to see me doing, or at least trying, what I was passionate about and loved to do, which was use a camera to make money. So her being born motivated me to quit my job from a place of love for myself and for her, to show her that what it was like to follow your passion. On top of that, I love using a camera. I love taking photos. I love making videos for many, many reasons that I'm not getting into right now. My point is, though, is that although it took me, I quit my job in April of 2013, started my first business in August of 2013. And it took me about five solid years to find any type of real financial stability. But while I was going through that struggle of building the business and making money and learning how to do what I did, because it was all from this place of love for what I do, love for my daughter, love of the idea of having freedom, it eventually built and grew to where I had all the things I needed. I had enough money to pay bills. I had financial stability. I had freedom, which was the most beautiful sort of peripheral, unexpected result of quitting my job and following my passions. I had freedom to be with my daughter, freedom to do what I wanted, freedom to relax if I needed to, freedom to try anything and everything I wanted to try. What I'm trying to articulate, or what I am articulating here, is that when we take action from a place of love, regardless of what the thing is, that is when magic happens. It may take time, it may not happen right away, but that's the universe just letting you know that, that's again another topic. But when we act, when we take action, when we think, when we feel from that place of love, is when everything begins to unfold in a magical way, and you will find yourself attracting everything you need in your life. You'll find yourself having more ease in your life. You'll find yourself feeling and living in a way that you know in your gut, that you probably felt for a long, long time. So those are the two main things I want to share about love and the reframing of love. Love is not something outside of ourselves. Love is not something we have to go out and get. It is all here all the time. We can understand that and really drop into that and really feel that and really live that. Everything else externally is a bonus. The second thing, operating from love or fear. When we operate, the intention in which we operate from or take action from will then manifest that intention. So if we are taking action or thinking or feeling from a place of fear, the fear will perpetuate and become real in our lives. On the other hand, if we are taking action and thinking and feeling from a place of love, that feeling will perpetuate and become real in our lives. So, in this moment right now, I'm extremely proud of myself because I got through this and I feel like I articulated what I need to articulate, and I went through the discomfort. Oof. And yeah, so this feels good. I'm proud of myself. It may seem a little bit, maybe like trivial or sort of silly that, what I've experienced the last 2.5 years of healing with plant medicine and meeting the people I've met and coming to these newer understandings of things and these knowings, and it's been so impactful in my life. And at times I feel like I maybe am not worthy of it, or maybe I'm not articulating and sharing what I've learned is something I really, really enjoy. I knowing what I've been through, knowing how much it's changed my life in incredible ways, I feel so compelled to share this knowledge, share this experience with others, because I know that when myself, or when you, the individual, when the individual is able to go in and begin to understand and know who you are, and love yourself and accept yourself and see yourself and heal yourself, it is magic. It reflects back out into the world. We need more of it. So I'm here to share and hopefully inspire and motivate as many people as possible to get on this path and to know themselves and love themselves and accept themselves, because it's time to evolve as a collective, and it's time to understand who we are.